Is life really getting more complex and difficult, or are we just getting whinier and wimpier about it?
Well, there's a yes and no answer to that. In a way, what's really changed is how ubiquitous and how frequent and the volume of potentially meaningful information that we're allowing into our lives. It's kind of the stress of opportunity of options, that are showing up. People get very clear and relaxed in a crisis because they absolutely forces them to focus on one thing, right? The real crisis happens when you're not in a real crisis, because then the barbarians at the gate come all flooding through. The barbarians of overwhelming opportunity, are allowed in, and you've got a whole lot of that is kind of in your face. Another issue is that all of that stuff, and the brain scientists have validated now, the pings in your email, just handling that and looking at it and dealing with it and doing something about it creates dopamine in your brain. It's a highly addictive process to deal with all of those little pings out there, that are happening and coming to you. So what happens is that, there's a part of you that truly gets addicted to the ping. The problem is that denigrates your brain's ability to truly focus and think, in its optimal state. So that all of that is different. In another way, it's no different. You got to understand, people talk about information overload. That's not the problem. If that was, you'd walk into a library and blow up, right? It's the most information-rich place in the world is the most relaxing, nature, because it has more inputs, and more different horizons than almost any other place. If you wanted to go crazy, take out all your information. It's called sensory deprivation. You go nuts. Right, so the brain actually loves that. It needs that. It needs all that variety and so forth. The problem is in nature, there's not that many potentially meaningful things. There's snakes and bears and berries and thunderstorms, and that's about it. Maybe the lion-eating, the man-eating tiger that somebody saw at the river, this morning. That the brain is can handle that pretty well, but the rest of it's no big deal. But you got 2,000 emails in your in-basket. Every one of those could be a bear, a snake, a tiger, a thunderstorm, or whatever. And so it's the potential meaning in there that's still not been clarified that will eat you alive.